2020 and a new decade begins. With it come hope and promise, but also the imperative to act and see real and positive change. Because 2019 was another year in which tens of millions of people were forced from their homes and displaced within their own countries. They fled conflict and violence in Ethiopia, the DRC, Somalia, Nigeria, Yemen, Afghanistan, and in the 8-year tragedy that continues to unfold in Syria. They fled storms, floods, droughts, earthquakes, the devastation of Cyclone Idai in Mozambique, and waves of water in India and Bangladesh. Internal displacement is one of the biggest and the most overlooked challenges of our time, and yet it's the centerpiece of almost every other challenge the world faces today. From conflict and income inequality, to climate change, disaster risk, and urban growth. Today, there are almost twice as many people uprooted inside their countries as there are refugees. Continuing to sideline them is putting an entire generation at risk for the future. That's why, in 2020, the world needs to focus all its attention on finding solutions for its millions of internally displaced people. Solutions in the form of better data so that we can grasp the full extent of this challenge. Stronger laws, more coherent policies, investment in preventing conflicts and reducing the risk of disasters, and above all, protection and assistance to the millions of vulnerable men, women and children who deserve a brighter future. The good news is that these solutions do exist. Together with our government and our civil society partners, we will continue to compile, to document and to make these solutions available. We'll share them through our participation in the new UN high-level panel on internal displacement, and we will demonstrate how they can be implemented and how they can become an integral part of the global sustainable development agenda that we should all be working towards for 2030. IDMC will continue to provide unique evidence of how internal displacement has a social, an economic, an environmental, and ultimately a political cost. And we can show with evidence what is needed to effect real political change from the local to the global and involving governments, UN agencies, civil society, and internally displaced people themselves. The goal is to create a world in which no one is forced to leave their home, but one in which if they do, they must be empowered to make their own choices and to rebuild sustainable lives. We're beginning a decade in which we must, we can, and we will make real and lasting change.